Good evening, one and all, and welcome to another episode of Radio Feedback. My name is Judith. I am serving as your moderator this evening. Glad to see everyone is alive and well
That's
and
right.
on time. And on time.
That's
On
right.
time.
On time.
On time. Sit
Yes,
down there and prop your jaw all you want. You know, say who I'm talking about. On time this evening.
That's right.
So, people, first of all, let me ask you all, first and foremost, Miss Forrester, how are you doing this evening?
I am well. Thank you for asking.
Dr. Barnes, talk to me. How's life?
It is well.
Hi, Lucy.
Good evening, Lucy O'Brien. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good
Mr.
evening.
Archer, how are you doing this evening, sir?
Greetings. I'm doing quite lovely.
Hi, Andrea.
Greetings
Andrea
from
Lamont.
Jack.
I'm very
Andrea,
fabulous tonight. Very
thank you
fabulous.
so much. Thank you so much, Andrea, for joining in with us. This evening, people, now it's been some time. We didn't let Sam into the sandbox to play, for him to do his favorite thing, which is working on his numbers. You know, he likes to count. So, Samuel, just enjoy yourself. Go ahead and do your count for it this evening. I know you like to show everybody that your schooling paid off.
Yeah, I'll leave the special teeth upstairs. And the one the counters were from Sesame Street, I'll leave that upstairs. And then every two time he count, he say,
Count.
Not that one. Episodic count. Do your thing.
Everybody will go in with the count. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 5, bling, bling.
Bling, bling, bling.
75 episodes, people. Hit the like button. Going crazy.
Our silver episode, 75 shows strong. So
That's right.
Karin insists that we do some special kind of toast.
I know what kind of juice business all you have going. I have the real thing.
You mind your business.
Well, you see,
Don't mind mine.
Fine. That's right.
Some of us,
Cheers.
we do not
It
participate.
has been a pleasure working with
We do not
all of you,
indulge
I
with
just wanna
the
say.
stronger spirits.
It's been
So
a
bless
pleasure.
up everyone.
A little something for the worms, you know what I mean? Let the worms whine a little bit. I think that for
You
the
might clink glasses. You wanna clink?
cling.
Clink.
I ain't spilling nothing on my laptop. All you know, clink, nothing. All right, so we're gonna keep things moving this evening. We have a very, very interesting subject at hand. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna run to a little commercial break. So Sam,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
run the thing. Let me come back and
We have somebody
Sorry.
saying
Hi,
it.
Chili Galfly.
Yeah, and we're gonna run the thing right now.
My name is Karin Forrester. I represent BantuKreations. BantuKreations offers beautifully made, African-inspired, lightweight, handcrafted, one-of-a-kind earrings in wonderful shapes, shades, sizes, and colors. Please don't be scared of the large sizes. They're extremely lightweight earrings. BantuKreations can be found on IG and on Facebook as BantuKreations. That's BantuKreations with a K.
Come check me out, chriskeys.com. I'm worldwide.
Tony Altamirano.
Hi, I'm Gina.
What's up, everybody? I'm Win Vu, award-winning remixer.
Koya, I'm an artist.
Hi, my name's Justina Bethel.
Hi, I'm Mike Bowen from Denton, Texas.
How you doing? This is Tom Cup from Music by Tom Cups. Check out Samuel E. Archer's book, Hybrid Executive. We are in the business, and here's how you can be a better business person because you're running your business.
You can find my music at JustinaBeth_EL on Instagram or JustinaBethel.com, and I am a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive, just like you.
Follow me at Koya Music, and I'm also a hybrid executive.
I'm worldwide, baby, but just know I'm a hybrid executive. That's all you need to know, baby.
Get on up, B.
Check out my music, MikeBowen.com. I'm a hybrid executive.
I'm a hybrid executive.
Just like you.
Yes.
Hi, Carol. Hi,
Yes,
Carol.
yes. And you all hit the like buttons. Hit the like buttons. Yes, please hit all the like buttons. Thank you very much.
So are you ready? I
Uh,
want you all to go deep on this subject this evening, man, because we touch around this thing a few times, and we here this evening to talk about the fancy word is urban renewal. But let's use the word gentrification, the word most commonly used to describe the process whereby the character of a poor urban area is changed by wealthy people moving in, improving housing and attracting new businesses, but typically displacing current inhabitants in the process. Some people may argue that this is a good thing because it leads to commercial development and it creates more police presence, and as a result, it reduces the crime rate. But here's another definition of gentrification. I didn't say this. This is a definition. The process of making someone or something more refined, polite, or respectable. Simply speaking, more wealthier, and whiter residents moving in droves into black communities. That's what it's all about. Earlier this week, I was observing a new community close to me here that's under development, and the thought crossed my mind, how long would it take before some ignorant group of youths decide to take it upon themselves to begin driving their off-road vehicles like dirt bikes and three-wheelers, doing stunts and burning tires directly outside somebody's newly purchased home? Your biggest investment in life. And 6 months, a year after purchasing your house, you have some ignoramus decide that they want to do stunts outside. Who can blame anyone, black, white, purple, for not wanting their property value to go down? Who could blame anyone for not wanting another group or race to move in next door to them when historically this said group has had a history of destroying everywhere they live? I don't like how some of these things sound, but what I'm saying right now, these are events that I've witnessed. Even though your truth may be very different from mine, one cannot deny the fact that change is constant. We know that. But there is something a bit sinister going on in several inner cities right now. Not just here in America, but in various countries around the world as we speak. Something sinister is going on. And a lot of us are wide awake in a dream, pretending we're not seeing, or actually we're seeing it and we just too asleep, too dumb to realize what's really happening, that real estate is being bought out and taken away from us to the point that somewhere in the future we'll end up owning nothing. Does anyone have any evidence of anything happening within the communities that they live, or seeing stuff happening around the world?
Locally, for me, in the last, I'd say 15 years, I've been here a little over 20 in Florida. And in the last 15 years, the trend that I've seen is starting from the beach. Beachfront property is extremely expensive no matter where you are, but Florida in particular, extremely expensive. So for the people who want to live on the beach, but they can't really afford those numbers, 500 grand, a million, stuff like that, they're moving inward into neighborhoods that were exclusively and historically Black communities. They're just clearing out. the areas. A lot of smaller businesses have been closed down. Leases aren't being renewed by certain property management companies because they see the trend, and a lot of whites, Hispanic whites, and stuff like that, and Caucasian, Europeans are moving inland, and our neighborhood is just changing dramatically. Has changed dramatically. You see new companies opening up with Spanish names out of the blue, but most of the neighborhood is still predominantly, say, 12% Caribbean, maybe 12, 13% African American, and it's just changing dramatically in my area. And Curtis shared a little reel with me about 2 weeks ago, I think, and it was of a little crab in a big stew pot, and it was nice and warm and bubbly. And we sort of mentioned something like that before on the show. And the crab had a small corn on the cob in front of it, sitting nice and comfy and picking at the corn on the cob. So he literally was being cooked, but he was eating while he was being cooked. And that's the lulling that I'm talking about. We're being lulled to sleep. We're being lulled to not see what is happening around us, to see the changes, the rezoning from commercial to residential or vice versa. And people just aren't saying anything. And I have nothing against people enjoying the holiday season, but we've spent the last year and a half plus dealing with pandemic type restrictions. People aren't able to pay their rent, they aren't able to pay their mortgage, and by March, June, it's going to be the homeless people population is going to be astronomical just in my area. That's what I can speak to. What are you guys seeing?
I cannot say definitively that I see it around. I know it's going on. There's a new development not far from where we live. My son was talking to me about it just a few days ago, and it's for seniors. And he's telling me, basically, he's saying it's nice. I said, Taryn, none of this is nice. He likes to see production. He likes to see things moving and going on. So he thinks it's nice. But I don't think it's nice. And they look like chicken coop to me. They don't look spacious. They don't look like they have any real, anything of value. It's like they just decide to cook up something. And some of what bothers me is that they have some of them not far from the main shopping area, which is dangerous, especially to have seniors in that area, especially if they don't drive and all the rest of it. But I know gentrification was taking place in New York and Harlem, big time. And I know the white folks was going in there and buying up the land, the house, the houses, and doing. Bill Clinton had a law office there. I don't know if he still does. So the thing is that I don't know. Sometimes I get to the place where I'm not sure what to think. You use the word lull. You talk about the holidays. People are out there putting themselves in great debt. And you can't talk to people. They're not hearing.
True. Because they've been pushed down for so long.
Yeah.
Now they have an opportunity to socialize and exercise the dollars, whatever dollars they have. But in 3 months, 4 months, they're really feeling it.
The problem that they're not seeing is that one of the reasons why we're locked down is because of our madness. And we have not improved so that it can open up properly. I truly believe that we're locked down because of our foolishness and our ignorance. And so we're rushing to get back out of it. And we're just going in circles. So I think the other day I went to Sam's and I bought some stuff, laundry detergent and different things for household. And my sister doesn't drive as much as she used to. So I said, you know what? Let me buy her some things that I was buying for myself. And I told her the other day, I said, that's your Christmas present. I'm a practical soul. I'm not putting myself in any debt. Because during the year, if I feel like buying her something that she needs, I'll buy it for her. So why do I have to go drive myself crazy? I might get her something if she needs like a diffuser in her room so she can breathe more easily or whatever. So that I might do. But it's not going to cost me more than $20. I'm trying not to make it cost me more than $15. So I'm concerned for us, especially for people say they're middle class and they say and we say those things about ourselves. We don't have no idea where we are.
I'm concerned for the people who are going to be homeless, who really the resources aren't there in the amounts of people who need it. They're not out there. You can get a little, couple of days worth of food here, a couple of days in a hotel there if there's some major emergency, but they're not there in the supply that they need to be. There are a lot of foreign investors who are coming in this area and just buying out entire apartment complexes.
Yeah, people don't care though.
Investors from New York coming down.
Interesting enough, you mentioned Harlem. How has gentrification changed Harlem? Before we even begin to understand, we have to understand the Harlem of yesteryear, where we had jazz clubs,
right?
We had social activism, and I use that word loosely, going back to the days when preachers and speakers would stand on the soapbox on the corner and educate the community as to whatever it was about, whether it was about the ills in society, whatever it may be. You had the preachers, social activism. We had the Apollo Theater. We had incense vendors, soul food restaurants, and the Harlem of today. When you go there, it's a tourist destination. You have the Korean, Thai, and Chinese food restaurants. My question is though, why do we as a people change when the affluence of the community changes? We do not necessarily have to begin patronizing these new restaurants and shops. Why can't we just simply continue to patronize our own, even though these others move in? Why is it we see the new restaurants moving in and the smaller mom and pop operations being forced to close their doors and move out?
But we ask the same question every time. And the reality is that we do not believe in our stuff. We don't believe in our stuff. The majority of electronics bought in this country is bought by blacks. The majority of colognes and all that stuff is bought by black folks.
Cosmetics,
hair care, all that stuff. So the thing is that our focus is off. It has been off. This is not what the Black Panthers wanted to see happen. This is not what Malcolm X fought for. This is not what Dr. King fought for. What we do is, like Karin said, we become lulled. We're easily lulled into, we get satiated by the slightest little pleasure. And I mean, I see people out here, it's mostly blacks around this area here, and they shopping like crazy. Shopping like crazy. And I'm saying, what the heck is this? But we don't learn. We don't learn. I mean, I'm out of words.
The risk is history will repeat itself. Maybe not in the exact same way, but it will repeat itself.
Because, like you said, in Harlem, it's like Harlem has gone. What's the word that come to mind now? It's like Harlem has they've been lulled to sleep.
It's uptown. It's upper Manhattan now.
They've assimilated a lot.
Right. That's the best one. Assimilated. Because listen, being comfortable is a rough thing. Today I thought about it. It's not the first time I thought about it today. How you can be in a pigsty and be comfortable. Because the very motion of getting out of the pigsty takes so much.
You don't want to do the work.
And you know the evil that you have. So you stick with it. And
so we have to keep remembering that there's a lot of efforts that go forth to keep us as the number one consumer.
Oh yeah.
If
Oh
we
yeah.
can stay the number one consumer, then all the economies can strive and survive. So it's not really one thing that, well, when we look at the why, it's this over here or that over there. So yeah, where we're divided, we're already divided. We want to prove that we're impartial.
We want to prove that we can afford the same things as a person making the millions.
So we want to prove to, I don't know who, but we have to prove to somebody that we can go to the Gucci store and buy. And we can buy what we want, drive what we want. And so now we even have a couple of different movements where you have the Black experience being divided on top of it now. So where we can all band together and be effective, now it's about geographics. Well, we're from here, they're from there. This is what they do because they're from there. And then the Caribbean community is divided. So you have them Jamaicans, them Trinidadians, them Bajan, them Haitian. We're divided it's crazy. So I think we have to look at the full spectrum to understand, okay, well, why would there be a neighborhood and then other folks would come and just either make choices for that particular real estate, and it's a lot of different things, a lot of different sectors, that's causing the full effect that we're seeing. And then every 10 years they put out a documentary, and you're like, yeah, I remember this. I remember this. But we like 15 years down the road, remembering something that happened. And these were all different signs that we overlooked at the time that came to fruition. And here we are. And we're still the number one consumer.
I mentioned a minute ago about the poor businesses or the mom and pop establishments having to close their doors. And a lot of times we tend to blame it on poverty. But is poverty the main factor that causes businesses and the middle class to move in and take over these impoverished neighborhoods? Because the way I see it, if the quote-unquote impoverished had ownership of where they lived in the first place, then there'd be nothing for the middle class to come in and take over. It would be a poor neighborhood, yes, but they wouldn't want to come in because there's nothing there for them. We hear people complain about, oh, they come and they're taking over Harlem from us. Who is this us that we spoke about? Half of these communities have stayed the same way from the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. And then when they come in and buy it up, we say, well, oh, they're buying up the hood, they're buying up the ghetto, and they take, but the ghetto has always been there for sale. But nobody bought it. Nobody saw the value in it.
Until a white person saw it.
Until a white person see the value, and then they come in and they say, oh, look at the white people come in and they're taking over. They're taking over what? The same thing, the same empty lot that has been there, the same burnt out building that the crack dealer has been selling out of for years. And now they come in and take it over, and all of a sudden it becomes a problem because now they are taking over. Why do we wait until someone else sees the value in what it is we have in the hood? Why we wait until someone else sees the value, and then all of a sudden we begin to boo-hoo-hoo and complain when we do nothing with it while it's in our hands?
It comes down to what we're focusing on. So those of us that are focusing on, work hard, get an education, get a good job. Then, when you want to build, we are discouraged building because either Jesus is coming back soon, so don't put any emphasis on building something. And I'm from a Christian background as well. So when I say Jesus is coming soon, no disrespect, but the point is, if you have a home in the sky and you're waiting for something that's coming in the sky or something that's futuristic, it means that you will not put any proper seeds down, anything that is permanent. So you have other ethnicities that think on a permanent frequency, where we think on a temporary frequency. We like, okay, instead of really fixing the house how it should fix, let me just patch up this room over here. Let me patch that. Let's patch this because Jesus coming soon. And again, no disrespect, no pun intended. But we have to think in a permanent frequency. We have to think on a where, you know what? We need to plant some trees. We may not get the fruits. The children is going to get the fruits. The generations down will be getting the fruits. So we have to think on that frequency. Yes, my dear, go ahead.
Sam, let me say this to you. What troubles me, and it's a new thing in the last several years, people are blaming God. The bottom line is, if we take, and this is my take on it, and I will always have that take, because I have succeeded on it. Black folks go to church and they run around and they scream and they holler. And they take off their shoes and they speak in tongues and they do all those things. That's not relationship. That's not godly. God says the Bible says for lack of knowledge of people perish. We don't have any knowledge of ourselves. We don't know who we are. I've suggested to a Jamaican once that we're Africans, and this guy almost lost his mind because nobody black wants to be associated with Africa. Yet Africa is where it all began and where the greatest wealth has been and still is. Mm-hmm. And we don't know it. Mm-hmm. The problem is that the black people talking about Jesus, they're liars. They're liars. Because if they truly believed the way they should believe, we will revolutionize this country as blacks. We are punks. We go to church and they scream and holler, make an ass of themselves. And the pastor collects money. I left the church because of that garbage. And the pastor come and I said, listen to me. I'm not sending him on a cruise. I'm not buying a car for him. I am not doing anything like that. That is not what this is about. So listen, it's not God to blame. It's ignorant, foolish black people.
Let me just clarify, Dr. Judith. I'm not saying that we're blaming God. I'm talking about a thinking. It's if you have people, regardless if they run up and down and shout and flip on the ground and flip in the air and lay hands and all kind of thing. In fact, right now with only COVID going on, we need to see all the people who does lay hands and cause miracles. I don't know where it is. I don't know where the Obia man is.
Yeah,
give the COVID some Obia.
They are waiting. They are waiting until COVID is over so they can return to healing.
They can come back. All right, good. But this is the thing. We having reports that places like Japan, China are buying up property in the motherland right now. How many of us are thinking on that frequency? Right? To the point where, all right, if they're going where they're getting the cobalt, because these cell phones we're using, they need the cobalt material in there. They need that element to operate. We have mountains of that in Africa. But who is going there and refine these things for us? Chocolate. The chocolate is coming from there too. But we're not benefiting from that. Why? Because our focus is on the wrong thing. Or it's misguided. So when you think, we'll put it this way, every time you catch up on in a certain area, somebody moving the goalpost. Right? So when you get to the finish line, the finish line.
You know what, Sam? The problem is that we have not created our own goalposts. We don't listen.
That's what we have to do.
But listen to me.
I agree with you there.
The Chinese are going to Africa. And let me tell you, they're marrying those African women.
Yeah.
I have been watching the trend. They're marrying them, and they're having children with them. They're having families, full-fledged families with them.
Yes. Yes.
And because that's one way to infiltrate.
Yes. Yes.
And we welcome every striking race except our own. We welcome everybody to come in. And the problem is, a lot of people do it under the caption of religion. That's not what
There's another layer, though. There's another layer that black. What are you talking about? Blacks who were here in the United States or blacks who were dispersed in the islands. We were not part of building. We built the infrastructure, but we didn't invest in the infrastructure, and that's what China has above a lot of other countries. They are into building the infrastructure and using their own people. When you look at Jamaica, Antigua, TNT, they are building infrastructures in Caribbean islands. They are getting access to ports, which daggone country gives a foreign country access to ports where they can come in and have military strategic positioning by having access to ports. Do you remember I've been down here in Florida about 23 years. Prior to moving down, there was some Saudi, I don't remember if it was Saudi Arabia, some organization that was trying to buy a port in New York. People were like, hell to the no. But these little greedy politicians in these Caribbean islands and here are willing to go for the quick money and not think of the generational impact, the negative impact generationally. That's bull.
That's what
China's
China's
doing
done
it right now in Jamaica.
Yeah,
they're
that's what
building the highways.
Yep.
They are building the ports. All the infrastructure is Chinese supported.
Yeah.
For a few little dollars, some scholarship programs, some internships in China. And when China decides to build highways in Jamaica, in one project, 7,000 Chinese engineers came to Jamaica to do this.
Yep.
They didn't hire
Jamaicans,
Jamaicans. And they keep on doing that crap and getting away with it. There are a few people who are vocal about it, but it's still ongoing. And in the next 10 years, they're going to be owning some of the ports in Jamaica and other islands.
Let's hope that Jamaica could pay for the work when it's done.
What they're not seeing, they're positioning themselves militarily as well.
Right, because once you can't pay for it now, then that will be the property of
China.
Millions and billions being given to Antigua, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago in scholarships to CARICOM. Millions and billions. How the heck are they supposed to repay this?
They can't. And
when payment comes due, it's not going to be in the form that they expect.
It was set up that they can't pay.
Print more money, man. Print more money. Go print some more.
Africa owes China money too. It is set up. I can't remember the name of the president of one of the African countries. He came in and he said, enough. He said, the way you all have set up this loan, it can never be repaid.
Cannot.
And I can't remember, and I should have kept better track of it. But this guy went off, and then he went at the churches in that African nation. He went after them. He said, "No, we don't want you anymore because you're not helping the situation." So the problem is this: is that every person that attends a church, if they're not wise, if they're not aware, if they don't know who they are and what they're doing, that's why the pastors are getting away with murder. Listen, the church is here, the one I used to attend. When you're at the main topic almost every Sunday. Yes, and he's going to bring you a husband, and you're going to bring you a wife, and yes, you're going to pray for a house, and I let it be known.
People don't ask questions.
Preaching.
They don't ask questions. They don't
ask what?
They don't ask questions of leaders.
That's why I stopped going. That's why I stopped attending, because I told them, I said, no, what you...
First of all, my little comment on that, the church, the building fund never ends. It is never, whatever they've projected to make, they can't get to it.
It never ends because it's
never
the process building
and you
them
do not
building.
see what they're building. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Listen, this pastor had a bus on the property. I don't see the bus anymore. I ask question. I want to know where the bus gone. Because there are people at the church who can't come to church because they don't have any transportation. I know because I give people a ride. You know where the bus there? Them fix it up and send it go to Nigeria where I'm come from.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Then him say he want a special organization of people who, listen, let me tell you something. I remember cuss bad word. You know, it never cuss bad word. There's a special organization and we go meet like, you know, say once a month. I'm listening to them say, like there's a due you must pay, like dues you must pay. When them say dues, my ears, everything perk up now, can me pay my tithe? I mean, give offering here and there. Someone say, dues? They say, well, that's it. He asked for me to meet with him. Come and tell me that. I said, I come back here. So I met with him. So what is it? I said, sir, listen to the psychology. Because what they do, you know, they will name something like pastors, not to be pastors' girls. I can't think of a title. But there's a title that the group has that basically gives them a special in with the pastor. That's the idea. The bus was on the repairs. So what happened is the trump card is tell them they're going to have a special name associated with the pastor. So you're special. That's how it works.
That's a divide and conquer.
That's a divide and conquer. So when he said to me, I said, because you said there's a monthly fee, he said, I never said that. I said, well, sir, I heard you. I never went back. Blouse and skirt, Dr. Judith. Karin said, blouse and skirt. So what happened is a real blouse and skirt. But the thing is that I confronted him. He didn't like it. I don't care. I stopped going. I give my money to organization. Listen, I find people who are having a hard time financially, and I send my tithe to them. Maybe 3 or 4 of them. I send it to an organization that I feel is worthy. That's what I do. I am not giving it to that man or any other man. And then when his birthday comes, I must now give him something in a card. I must give him what should I draw something in a card? Give him something in a card. Then they want to do something special for him. Like they want to pay a trip for he and his wife. I can't give them a trip. Get the backside down to the Martha station and take a trip down to Atlanta and walk around town and see people who living on the street, who living close to churches on the street.
But before we jump off of this Chinese world dominance situation here, I looked at an article which stated that China is owed almost $400 billion in loans from over 165 countries.
Shame.
Like Djibouti, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, Montenegro, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, just to name a few. Some of these countries are so deep in debt that it would take half of their what you call it, their gross income per year. Yeah, per year to pay back Japan. To pay back China, sorry. These countries are so deep in debt that they will probably never, for generations to come.
It's loan sharking on a different level.
Based on the interest rate on these loans, they will never get out of debt. And some of them, they don't read the fine print. Because somebody mentioned it a minute ago. If by a certain year you don't pay back a certain percentage of this loan, they now own that airport. They now own the port, the shipping port. They now own that highway. So they are giving these loans, printing money and loaning this out to these poor, unsuspecting countries, understanding that they're putting them in a trap, in a financial trap that they will never be able to come out of. And then
sending workers too. They're sending the workers.
Sending their own workers, because now they come in, and I do not understand how is it that these quote unquote educated prime ministers and financial ministers from these countries are getting into these kind of traps. I don't have that college education, and I know to read the fine print. how is it that you could allow a country to come into your country to build?
And
okay, we coming
dictate.
to build a hotel,
And
right? And you
dictate.
do not put within that contract that you have
My
to hire
workers.
X percentage of local workers to work on
Right.
that, to the point that they bring in their entire labor force from China, and you now sitting on the outside just looking in, and you cannot even come next to the
And
job
creating
site.
discord in your own population as a result.
I do not understand it.
So that to answer that question, we need to look at a few James Bond movies and look at another movie called The International. We might think that these leaders made a free choice sometimes, but a choice might have been made under duress. And, you know, the public or persons may not believe that this was made under duress, but it might have been, well, you know what, we have this on you, or we have that on you, or your previous prime minister has this issue. And to sort of save certain situations, they had to put certain things up in the balance to keep things moving. So there's a, you know, these are
Political generational hypocrisy.
Can't
Get
even,
out of here.
these are things we probably can't even talk about because we might end up.
But historically, you know, Sam.
Yes, my
historically, that's how it's done. That's how it's
a
done.
political thing.
Everybody's
Generationally,
in
just
bed
continues.
together.
Snowballs.
We're all playing games, and we are the pawn. And the thing is that that's why when people get into party politics, it irritates me. Because they don't care. I don't care which party they belong to. They don't care.
Political sentimentality. Isn't that the way our boy said it?
So what now?
Political sentimentality.
Yeah, there's one. Is that a joke?
Look a good example. What happened to Toussaint?
You mean from Haiti?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Toussaint.
Toussaint.
I can't answer what happened to Toussaint, but I can tell you what happened to Haiti as a result of Toussaint.
Same thing.
Okay, but the point is, you had a situation where, right, you made a stand, and then the folks who held certain strings said, well, come let us reason. And on the way to coming to reason, you disappear. These are lessons we have to look at. These are things we have to pay attention to. So when we see places being gentrified, it's not just one movement or one action or someone.
No, it's decades in the making.
There's a whole set of different things going on. And
it's
we have
layered and it's decades in the making.
And play chess. We had to learn draft and checkers and all kinds of things.
We're not learning nothing.
We have Dr. Judith, we are still here as consumers.
Yeah, but you know what? We're still here because of what I said earlier.
But my
we're still here because we don't even know how to die.
Yeah, Dr. Judith, one of the things we need to look at is, okay, you give examples of the things you do. Maybe you need to just teach one or two more people.
What I do.
How you move.
I do.
And create a movement that way.
Listen,
but we're so divided and individualized that we can't move together. And
I teach people on an individual level how to spend money. I can't force them to do it. Because if you can manage your money, you're ahead of the game.
Well, what I'm saying is, we might have to forget the generation now and kind of go with the younger set. You know, when you're past 20, you're going through. So we had to work with the 5-year-olds, the 6-year-olds, and really get them set. So and look at a plan. Now, let me tell you something, right? The power we see the Asian countries exhibiting right now started in because remember now, they had to start from scratch too. Their start was offering cheap labor in the late 60s going into the 70s, right? Where you could get labor is cheap there. So I'm very sure if we do a check on the clothes we're wearing right now, and everything in the room, I am very, very sure over 90% of them thing was made somewhere over there.
Mm-hmm.
This was made in China. This was made in Taiwan. That was made in Japan. This was made in the Philippines. This was made in there. Labor is cheap. That was how they started their thing. So we have to look at this kind of like the Jamaican Olympic team, you know? Right. You have an Olympic team, and in the 80s, you get some real estate in Florida and say, all right, we are going to train here. And, you know, people was laughing at Jamaica training in Florida for a little while until now you could see the club is the top club in the world right now, where the fastest runners are right now. We're seeing that now because of someone had a dream and a vision and say, okay, you know what, we'll be the laughing stock for a little second, but let's do this. Isn't there still a Jamaican bobsled team somewhere?
Listen, one of the things as you're talking, you know what's going through my head?
Yes, tell me.
Is that black folks, including Jamaican and Trinidadian and whatever, don't seem to believe that our very existence has any importance until a white person is involved. In other words, I am working and I'm making my money and I go into a place and I can't buy this and I can't buy that because I'm black. And I'm going to go on TV and I'm going to march and make a fuss because the white man is keeping me out of something. We don't seem to have a value on ourselves unless the white man is involved. If you speak well, the black person says, you're talking like a white man. Everything just about that we do is hinged on what white people think and do. The problem is that we do not have a group identity.
Before we talk about the group, Judith, let's talk about within the family structure as a whole. How many of you right now can name 2 people you know or 2 family businesses you know that are thriving right now for generations? I don't think we put enough power in this last name that we carry. I don't think we put enough power and enough emphasis on the very last name that we carry. Judith, and I know you can identify with me on this, right now, there should have been a Barnes communication core, something. Because there are enough Barnes in the communications field where something should have been built. And I know you will agree with me on that. In terms of my family name, whether it's the Cruikshank side or the Henry side, there is no generational wealth being built. There is no generation wealth being passed down. I inherited nothing. I am trying now, as we discussed previously, to build legacy. And I'm pretty sure Sam is there doing the same thing. But how many of us right now can list 2 or 3 family enterprises that we know within our circles that are thriving right now?
Let me share something with you. I got a text Saturday, Sunday, whenever, from one of my brothers that said on Sunday at 6 p.m., Irie Times was interviewing 3 of my brothers, Jeff, Winston, and Norm, Ed, and we're to watch it. The day before, 2 days before, I sent out an email. I sent out a video that was done of me and the business called Beryl and Ingrid Barnes Inc. LLC here in Rockdale County. A video was done. They came to my house and filmed me, and everybody that has seen it so far says how well executed it was. It's talking about my business, my sister and my mom. Okay. The message from Winston was to watch the video of Jeff and him and Norman, Ed. That video was made probably in 2009 or 2010. It was about an hour and something. They spoke about themselves. And they spoke about themselves. And never was any sister's name called. I'm in broadcasting. I'm part of it. Never called. the only other person's name was mentioned was Chris, who is a very successful attorney in LA. So they mentioned him. And I listened to this thing. The video that I had sent, none of them has said we watched it. None of them has said, hey, go girl, even go to hell, whatever. Nothing. No response. You're correct. I've been trying for the greater part of my life to say, hey guys, let's do something as a group. I just released today my 2022 calendar. I was trying to get them to be a part of this 20 years ago. Nobody.
Send me the link. Send me the link, Dr. Judith. I'm going to put get someone to send us the link. And we should put the link in the thing tonight.
Absolutely.
So
I will. So the thing is that I'm saying to you, and you know the story in my family basically, but I'm saying to you, I know the weak link. I know it is. It exists in my own family. The talents that this family has, you know, the plays that have been written and all this. Remember the radio show, the plays was on the radio and everything? When Jeff got his new program some years ago, 4 years maybe, he said to me, listen, I want you to get right and start doing that, the soap opera we did. I said to him, hey, let me know when. Never heard another word. I don't hinker.
He was just making conversation.
That's all right. I heard him and I didn't take it on practice. But what is happening to me now? My life is taking off without their participation, without their approval. And let me tell you something that happened out of this. Winston's sister-in-law has been in the hospital about 8 weeks now, maybe longer, for a car accident I told you guys about. And she's, as far as I'm concerned, she's breathing on her own now.
Amen.
And one of the things that I was led to do was to paint a painting for her when she first comatose, basically. They wouldn't say, but that's what it was. I sent a picture of the painting to Winston and to Winston's wife, Andrea, to say, hey, this is in honor of Carolyn. When they got the painting, you know what happened? They were blown away. The painting was her favorite color. I don't know her favorite color. The painting was of her favorite color. I said to them, I sent it to Florida. Nobody asked me, I sent it. I said to them, her name is written on the painting and a Bible verse, 2 Corinthians 13. I said to them, when the 2022 calendar comes out for the month of August, they didn't even know that I knew the young lady was born in August. So they're freaking out now. How the hell did it know all of this? And I said to them, when the 2022 calendar comes out, that for the month of August, that painting will be listed and her name will be on it. And there's a Bible verse. So said, so done. Today, I picked up the thing from Office Depot. And there's the month of August with that same painting, which is hanging in our hospital room. And I sent it to both my brother and my sister-in-law. That's going on over 5 hours ago. Not one of them has responded and said, hey, I got it. Thank you. Nothing. That is envy, jealousy. The Bible talks about Joseph. I have a Joseph in my family. The problem is this. What I have had to learn, guys, is to leave that stuff behind and go ahead anyway.
Cut and go through.
And just keep going through. And you know what's happening? The successes are coming. They're coming. And that's what I tell people. You leave me alone, oh my God, because it's him I work it out with me. The county that I live in I am now on their website. And people are making, I didn't even know, the guy who came and did the videotape told me that people are making comments about the value of this, how inspiring and encouraging it is. So what I'm saying to you is what I always say when we speak. And Sam said it basically, one person, my attitude has infected my son. I cannot tell you his personal business, but he told me something the other day about his student loan. And let me tell you something. You know, you teach somebody, you know, you train somebody, but when you see it in action, when my son telling me how much money he has, that he could just about pay off his blasted student loan. You want to play with me? You ain't playing with me. I am one black woman that knows God is real. He's real for me. I use him to help me to be who I'm supposed to be. And it's working.
So the
And
bottom line, as
this young
stated,
man,
we need to begin within the home. We need
and
to
that's
begin
what he
with the
started his
family
own business.
structure. We need to understand the importance of this last name that you and I carry. And if you look around, these businesses, Wells Fargo, Abercrombie and Fitch, and a whole lot of the other businesses out there that we support, they are families that we're supporting, and we don't even know it.
And they're black, they are black-owned businesses that has a white face, so they can make some money.
So we need to put some emphasis on this last name that we have and create that legacy that we so often speak about on the show, so that I believe it begins here. One of the things I want to cover with the downsides of gentrification that I've witnessed is the changing of cultural standards within the community as others move in. Sam, you and I have had this discussion, and we had this discussion before. I remember in Brooklyn, when things started changing, a white resident kept calling the police on her neighbor because his music was her headache. His rehearsal sessions were constantly disturbing her quiet enjoyment of her new home with the constant playing of his musical instruments. This annoying neighbor just happened to be none other than Spike Lee's father. A veteran jazz bassist and pianist, a musician, a composer who had been playing music for over 4 decades before this new influx of neighbors with this suburban mentality moved in and now residing in this urban environment and wanting things to automatically conform to suit their standards. When they move in, okay, you agree, right? This is the hood. This is the ghetto, right? You all buying up the ghetto and you all want to change things, but you move into the ghetto and all of a sudden you want the ghetto to change to suit you.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And for 4 decades, this man has been playing music and no one has complained. All of a sudden you move in and this thing is now, jazz is now noise in your eardrum.
That's our carelessness. That's our carelessness. It's carelessness.
You speak to music and the need to, or the desire to change the neighborhood. But I wanted to speak to something else which is attached to that. When foreign investors, let's not just focus on China, but when foreign investors go into some of the Caribbean islands and they built up these multi-billion-dollar casinos and hotels and stuff like that. I'll use Jamaica as an example. Back in 2009, I went to Jamaica and went to a little hotel. It was in New Kingston. They did not accept Jamaican dollars. And I've heard that all over the country in major resorts. They do not accept the Jamaican dollar. Where else can you go? And the country, you say to they tell you they're not going to accept the currency of their own country. They will accept US in a minute. I'm sure they'll even accept euros. They did not accept Jamaican dollars in certain industries in Jamaica. How did we get to the point where you can allow a foreign entity to dictate whether your national currency is used in transactions?
But haven't we always been at that place, Karin,
absurd.
where we are, our worth has always been questionable. I mean, let's be real.
I was shocked when I heard it the first time.
And I've been saying this for years, and now I hear other people saying it. Jamaica is a little America. We copy everything that this country
It's one
does.
thing to copy, but I mean, your own national currency not being accepted in a place of business?
Listen, you know how things are bad? When every time you talk about the Jamaican dollar, and you say,
you always compare it
to the American
comparison.
dollar. That's why we do because we keep comparing, and there's no comparison.
Well,
different culture, different country, different.
Because the money we use here is not the actual money for this country. The money we use in this country is not the money that we're supposed to be using. That's a whole next show.
That's a whole other issue. But the thing is that how can a little island compare themselves to a nation like this? Because you know why? I'm sorry, I say it and I believe it. Jamaica have an arrogance about us. We don't know what humility is. Take your share and handle your business and stop. America is not the greatest country on earth. America has been selling that for centuries until other people believe it.
But it's going to come to a point where you cannot step back, whichever island you want to call out any 10 names. You cannot step back in that island unless a foreign country who's now controlling the infrastructure tells you it's okay for you to come in. What type of thing is that?
Can you imagine? We give away our rights. We give away, like Curtis is saying, you're sitting in this jungle, whatever you call it, hood, the ghetto, whatever, you're sitting there and you're playing your music, everything is fine. But you're not securing your borders. And these criminal white
not securing your borders and you're selling your ports.
Okay. Please. And we sell our land to them, and then them fix it up and look better than when we had it. And now we want to act like them, like we still have it same, we play our same music. No, the rules has changed. We sold out. So you can't play the music you used to play because there's a different set of people coming in there to live now. They don't look like us, they don't sound like us, and they don't want to hear what we are playing.
And they don't like us.
Well, we don't.
So what we have to do
they
is
do not like us.
Make sure that we go and report where they are reporting, and fend for yourself. That's what.
What now? Report what?
Where they go to report you making noise, we have to go and report and say, look, they too quiet.
That's the other thing.
We have to go and say them too quiet. That's what we have to do.
No, we have to hold these damn politicians accountable for all these behind the scenes.
That is what they come in. They don't like what you're doing. They're going to report it. The next thing come and talk on it all. Pung, pung, pung. You can't be doing this so. Because why? Because they went and report it. And so we had to find out where they're reporting it and go and tell them, look, these people over here too damn quiet. Sue them.
But the problem is that we do not have any real hold on what we own. We don't.
Exactly.
We don't even own.
We don't even own anything.
We don't own the money.
We don't own anything.
And we keep taking their stuff and rewashing and rewind and use it, and then we want to tell them. And you know what is sad? The brilliance of black people. My God Almighty, we don't know how brilliant we are. I do. I'm sorry. I'm playing no games. I'm a brilliant human being. God put that in me. I don't care nobody want to say. Me bright. Even me lick my head the other day. Can me get brighter since me lick my head? The bottom line is we do not, what look at
I'll drink to that.
Me too. Look at what we keep valuing. Sports and music and sports and music and sports. The bottom line is that there's a bunch of kids out here killing it in the academic circle. They are brilliant, 15-year-old graduating from college. Black children, brilliant. We don't hear about them because we don't control the media. So it's our job, as you said, Sam, it's our job to put it out there.
So let's bring them on Caribbean Feedback.
There's the thing.
The thing is, what I object.
I love that.
I agree with you on so many fronts that you discussed there, Judith. And when you say we do not control the media, we do control media.
Yeah.
But the media that we control is not supported sufficiently by us. And that's what we need to do. There is no reason why is it we should not have had 600 people on here tonight. 6,000 people on here tonight.
Right.
This is media.
Right.
This is dialogue and discourse. This is information that's vital to us, our communities, our families, our countries. There's no reason that we should not have 6,000 people on per episode. And I can show you, we can break that down. How many states across this union that Caribbean people live? How many islands in the Caribbean that Caribbean people are from? How many countries in foreign are Caribbean people residing? We can take all of this up and chop it up into little controllable pieces. And those are the people we need to get to. And when you multiply that, this is how, so the media that you speak about is here.
Mm-hmm.
It is already here.
Right. All right. Okay. But guess what?
Right.
What we have been saying and we continue to say, the problem is that there's a comfortability. That's not I'm saying it right. Comfortability that any human being goes through. There's a time and an area where we get lulled to sleep. What's his name? Oh God, can't remember. One of them bad German guy said that religion is the opiate of the people. And it's true. It is true. Religion is, because it's used in the wrong way. And so what they do, they lull you to sleep. They wake up in time to give you tithe. And they wake up in time to get some money because they want to sell it to Africa. And they wake up in time because first lady and first man must get party, and must get this and that. But in every church, there's one of me. At least one. The problem is that we can't seem to get together. Because if there's one of me in this church on the east side and one of me, we should be getting together and say, hey, how are we going to get rid of these blasted dogs that's stealing and ripping off the people and causing us to go backwards? In 12 Years a Slave, one scene, the white landowner was beating a slave with the Bible in his hand open, speaking from the Bible as he whipped her. So the thing is that in order for somebody to control me, I must first believe them. I must first believe that they're better than me, they're more powerful than I am, there's something about them and let me tell you one of the things, that it sounds crazy, but I'm going to say it because I know it's true. You know what's killing the present black groups and generation and culture, in my opinion, what's killing us? Tell us. None of us want to die for anything. We want to live at any blasted cost. That is what's killing us. Until people are willing to die for something, I know this. I don't believe it. I know it. Until my brother, especially Jeff, told me some years ago, not long ago, Judith, for God's sake, stop being so outspoken. I don't want you to die. Well, I gotta die someday. And the fact of the matter is that somebody gotta say something. They speak in their houses. Winston speak on the radio. But then they say so much and then they back off. Listen, you look at these guys that got their heads busted and locked up for us to be able to go into Macy's and to be able to eat where we want to eat. People that physically got beaten, they were willing to die for us to be free.
We're no longer locked up, but we can't seem to get out of our own way.
Well, that's the thing. Karin, those people were willing to sacrifice. We're not sacrificing nothing. We want it all. And let me tell you something. When people know what your price is, you might as well consider yourself locked up and having no freedom. This younger generation of black people, they don't want to die for nothing. They want some drugs, they want a car, they want some music, they're not interested in standing for nothing. And for the people that died for them, it's wasted on them.
Case in point. And it's, let's say we happen to have an issue, a gripe with an establishment, which is a franchise. And we say, you know what, we're not going to support it because of X, Y, Z. You're going to have one of us going in there to heckle, well, yeah, we're not coming there, but I am going in there and purchase something.
Yeah.
We had a case in New York where some folks was abused in a Korean establishment. And one of the mayors I loved decided, okay, he is going to
call his name, call the incident, because you all mentioned this here. And you all seem to forget. Hold on. You all seem to forget I was at the helm of that boycott on Fifth
Avenue. You talk about it. Let me drink to that. You talk about it.
I was at the forefront of that struggle. Okay? The Korean merchants at Red Apple store claimed that a Haitian woman stole 2 peppers.
2 peppers?
2 Scotch bonnet pepper. I was not in the store. I cannot speak on it. I do not know. But that was no excuse to beat her down to the floor.
2 peppers?
For stealing 2 peppers.
Okay.
That caused an outrage in the community, and the community decided to boycott the stores because of the way that they treated the woman, and the merchants from the store on the other side of the street decided to come over and help in the situation to beat the woman down. On my way home from work, at that point in time, I work in Borough Park in the Jewish community. I saw the commotion. I got off the bus, and I was about to go into the store to find out what happened. People started yelling at me, "Don't go." So I'm standing in the middle. Community members here on one side screaming at me, "No, don't go in the store." I'm looking in the store, just trying to find out what happened. And while I'm caught up in the middle, one of the Korean merchants gonna look at me and say, so I'm looking at him and say, "What?" He said, "Get out of here, you monkey." I said, "Really?"
So he called you a monkey?
Yes.
Okay.
From that moment, I knew which side of the line I needed to be on. And I joined that boycott, and we stayed out there for over a year from that date when I joined, because I insisted I'm going to do everything within my power to close your doors. On top of the disrespect, you disrespected me, not knowing who I am, right? So I joined that boycott. Unfortunately, when poor David came into office, God bless his soul, he did what he had to do to put a stop to the boycott, calling down all the political forces, the police powers, and everything that he had control of, stating that the boycott was illegal. And I don't know at which point in time in this country, boycotts became illegal. Yeah, it became illegal to boycott. When one of your predecessors, Dr. King, spoke about boycotting your oppressor. So that is what happened here. Please continue with your story.
One of the problems is this. We boycott them. Around the corner is a person that look like me. I passed that store and I go to another Chinese man or a Korean because I don't believe in supporting my own. Therein lies the problem with us. We go in there and them treat us bad. They don't want to touch my hand. First of all, they began touching nobody's hand because their culture is not really into touching hands or whatever. So they can tell you, but we don't touch hands. We just take money. Put down counter, we take money. The problem is,
animal hands, not hands. They prefer to touch animal hands, not human hands.
So the thing is that when are we going to have our own and support our own? That the Korean and the Chinese there'll be no discussion about them.
When we get the children involved, I will tell you, this older batch going through, we can't worry about that. We had to start working with the Pampers and let them understand what's going on, and we have to rear up a proper breed. The breed, once you hit 19, 20, and think that, forget that. That's a wrap.
Well, you know what?
The question was asked me today. Today, I help a colleague of mine deliver some furniture. This woman does refinishing, and quite often she would call on me to give her some assistance in delivering some of the stuff or picking up some of the stuff that she has to refinish. So I often step out and give her a hand. When we delivered a table that she finished today, the homeowners, the customer, looked at us and she said, "Is this a family business?" And to keep long story short, I didn't speak. But the woman said, yes, it is a family business. And she said, oh, you guys, that's so great. You all need to keep this up. You all need to keep this up and keep this family business going. And I just stood there and say, wow, it's interesting that this white woman recognized that. And a lot of us, are we still dancing around the subject? A lot of us do not realize the importance of this last name we carry. Starting, maintaining family businesses. Because so many times the parents may work on something all their lives. And then you have these children who grow up and then it's like, well, I don't want to do that. And they allow that business to fail. They sell the parents' house, sell the parents' belongings, and just move on into something else. Because for whatever reason, they saw the way the parents toiled and they decide, well, I don't intend to work that hard, so I don't want to do this.
We've covered something to this effect where we said that the storytellers are dying in our families. If we don't keep the stories going and let the children, allow them to value those who came before them, then they won't value your possessions and your house that you've built for the family and things like that. They've got to learn about their history and why this is so important to you as an individual to pass on the house and the business and whatever funds and whatever to help their lives propel even better. If they don't understand it and only look at the money, they've got to learn the history.
I share this with you guys. My mom's house in Florida is in my name, and I'm on the side of selling it because one, I'm not there, and but the major reason is this, very practical. My brother, you remember Bob, right, Curtis?
I know the whole on him. I know the whole on him.
Oh, yeah, Batty. He's in Florida. He's in Florida. I would like to, the cost, the sales on those houses right now is pretty high. And what compared to what's owed on it. I would like to give him, he was in the Navy. I'd like to give him a certain amount so he can buy himself a townhouse or whatever. And that will be his, in his name. And then the rest of it, a part of it, I want to put it in a trust fund. And then the other part of it, because it's quite a bit that will come out of it, I want to purchase a studio here in my mother and sister's name. And that's my house that is here. Karin's name is on it. So he will carry on. Whatever I do here, I have gone from the paintings to greeting cards to calendars. It's spreading. And Taryn is the one who has that legacy. Everything will go to him. So the thing is, I am now pursuing other things, and I'm pursuing it with a different attitude now, because I must make a difference before I leave this earth. And one of the things that Sam says, I want to, and I'll be ever, I work with special needs children, and I can't pass on these things to them, but I do pass on, most of them that I work with are Black. But I do pass on almost daily a sense of worth that they don't have in their homes. We have one white student in the class. She's taken to the dentist. She's clean. She has doctor's appointments. She's immaculate. The rest of them are Black. They're poorly taken care of. Poorly, physically. You know what they wear? Michael Kors shoes. Michael Kors pants. And the child nails dirty. Our hair stick up on our head. The teacher said, you remember the guy with what's his name? The guy with Muhammad Ali.
Don King.
Don King. The white woman called her the other day the Don King look. Pretty girl, about 14 years old. When I wash her hands, because I have to help them do all of that, I take her hands and there's a little cajoling and manipulating. I said, come. Because what has happened is she's trusted me now. And I have told her, I love you. And this little girl has come to the place now where she'll hug me. She's very antagonistic, fight in a minute. But I'm at a place with her now that she'll hug me. She trusts me now. And I wash her hand there and I say, come with me. I said, let me clean your nails. And she look at me. Because to me, these are miracles in the making. She look at me like, can I trust you? And she come with me. And I carried something special to work to clean her nails out. There are other children, black males in the class, and little white boys in there. And every one of them has a sense of value. And I'm not saying the other people don't work with them, but I am made to be an encourager. That's what I was creating.
You are starting the Dr. Judith grooming school. That is what you started.
That's a serious thing because I've thought of that.
Yeah,
so
well,
the question is, before we leave, ladies and gentlemen, an important point you brought up, Judith. How do we begin to trust ourselves? How do we begin to trust each other? How do we begin to build and create, once again, we go back to this word, that legacy, so that years from now, we do not find ourselves being gentrified, whether it is within our own communities. And I have a serious problem. Before, I used to say, I don't care who my children love, who they bring home, Puerto Rican, black, white, Asian, it doesn't matter. But I've changed that concept over the years because I really don't want to sit back and see everything that my black son has worked for end up back in the hands of white people. I don't want to see it. I really don't want to see that. I don't want to see it because once it leaves our hands, it not come back. It don't come back. So to see one of my sons build something and then it goes out of the family back into somebody else's hands, I know I don't want to see that. Bring home somebody will look like you. So the bottom line is, or the question I'm asking, how do we begin to trust ourselves? How do we begin to trust each other? How do we begin to build so that in the long run we do not find our own selves and family being ostracized and gentrified?
I will tell you, like every time we talk, I say the same thing. I practice what I preach. I live in a community here. There's a HOA, and they have just tacked on $50 to it, and I have to call them because I wasn't at the meeting when they agreed to.
Sorry, before you leave, Judith, right now, send that information to Sam. Let him put it up while you're speaking. Let him put that information up in regards to your cards and whatnot. So if you can walk and whistle while you talk,
the link
send that send that information.
The link for the calendars.
Yes, send that information to Sam.
It's through me, so I don't know how to do that because
it's on Etsy.
No. It comes through me because my son makes them for me on the
Okay, so
Office Depot
send
website.
you an email. They can send you an email and order.
Yeah, they can contact me through my email for order.
Can we put the email on the?
You want me to type it on there? You want to say it to you?
No, we just want to make sure that is it a special?
How do I do it though?
Email? You don't want Tom, Dick, Harry, and George sending you love notes and all kind of thing when you're trying to push the calendars. So I'm just saying, do you have a special email for orders?
Email, yes. Do you want me to? You have my email already, right?
I have your email already, Dr.
Okay. Is that sufficient?
So see what you can do to put that information on, Sam. Judith, please continue with your closeout commentary if you need me to reiterate that question. How do we begin to trust each other and build so that we do not find ourselves singing the same story?
It goes back to everything that I've said over the time, the 75 or the majority of the 75 shows that we have had. Because I'm grateful that I've been here for most of them. It's been a great association. I've enjoyed so far what we do here. And though my friend was a little bit out of her element when she was here the other day, she reminds me that she enjoyed it. So I say the same thing. It's an individual thing. When people talk about society, they talk about society like it's a building. Society takes one at a time. I'm one member of this. I grew up with an attitude that I owe society something. I grew up with that attitude. I grew up with the attitude that whatever I do affects other people, not just my immediate family, but you guys. It affects the world. I take on that responsibility. And I've lived that way. And I continue to live that way. That means that I go to, and I've shared this with you guys, that means that I go to Walmart and I see the young Black people, young Black women and men working there. I found out just recently, I've been doing it kind of rote, but I found out recently that when I find out from them, I get their name because I see extraordinary abilities, a work ethic. And what I do is I contact the people in charge, and I found out that they actually get points on their record, good points, when I do that. I write letters. I make, and they're not just 2 words, I write lengthy descriptions of the communication with them and how they perform. Not one, not two, many. I do it for Publix, I do it for Walmart, I do it in any store that I go. And it's mostly our people. If a white person is extraordinary, I'll do that too. At school, the general ed population, one young lady passed me the other day and she waved at me. And I didn't know who she was waving to. And I said to her, I said, do I know you? And she said, not really. She said, but every once in a while, you will speak to me and say hello. And I appreciate it. So I asked her about her studies and how she's doing and everything. Every day, just about, there's somebody that I meet that I impart something to them, that I put something, I plant something in them. In my personal life with my son, this is the root that I have sown into, and I'm seeing the rewards. I mean, when this young man told me what he told me the other day, it's a good thing I'm not easily frazzled, because what it's showing me is that he has taken the lesson and he's using it. So all of it summed up in saying, I live a life dedicated to make a difference daily. If I'm not feeling well, I put aside my not feeling well to encourage somebody. Whatever it is, that's what I was put on this earth for, is to encourage. And to somebody used another term to me today, but that's how it starts for me. Is every chance I get to encourage, to build up, to write a word. I challenge people. I go into stores that I ask for the manager. I don't care if they're busy. I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about this young man. So that is how, like you said, it starts in the home. I am trying, that young lady at school, I'm trying to get the teacher to be more forthcoming and speak to this young lady's parents. But she's white. She does not respect my dilemma for this Black girl. So I have to find a way to work with this young girl. And you know what? She trusts me now. So she let me comb her hair. The other day I brushed her hair. We talk about antagonistic little girl, but she let me brush her hair. She has long hair. And then she let me plait it. And I clean her nails. It starts one at a time. Sam said about the ones now 19 and stuff. I don't believe that. I think you can still touch people. It's hard. But we can't wait for the ones that are 10. We can't wait. We still have to keep pounding away at the ones who are 19 and 20 and 25. And most of all, perhaps most of all, for me, is that people that come into my world, children as well as adults, must know that I have integrity. I must live it. I must be so truthful. I must be so honest. I must be so, even if they get tired of hearing me, they always come back. No matter what. People tell me, why she can't talk? But you know what? When they need encouragement, they come to me. When I want it, they come back. So I have taken a personal responsibility from when I was a child and even till today, that I must encourage. I must leave everybody, anywhere I go, with a word of encouragement. And my child, we're at the airport, 2019, coming back from Jamaica. We had eaten and he disappeared. He said, Mom, I'll be right back. He had gone to the counter. We were ordering something to eat. When he came back, I didn't see him. I went looking for him. He was buying lunch for a homeless person. That started from the root. He never said anything to me about it. I saw him doing it. So, like you said, Curtis, it starts in the home. It starts at school. It starts at church. I'm extremely angry at the church, as we know it, as I know it, because they have dropped the ball. They don't even know where the ball is. Because they have sought to elevate men and women first, lady first, daddy first crap. That's not what it's supposed to be about. All the stuff going on, you see the church is absent? They're not speaking. And like everybody's saying, where are their healing powers now? They're taking a hiatus. And they'll come back when things get better. You want to know something? It ain't going to get better the way they think. That's it.
Ms. Forrester.
I see the face of my local neighborhoods changing and the culture. It's not just happening in my local areas, it's happening in my own country, Jamaica. I think that locally, nationally, we have to hold these politicians who are historically, they're just always being lured and have always been lured by money. And they make all types of deals that impact people for generations. I personally do not want to see a day come when I do not have the option to return to my island because it is owned by a foreign organization or another country. When I have to prove that I was actually born on the island of Jamaica. There's very little that we can actually hold on to in this country. I'd like to hold on to that much, the ability to return to my island whenever I feel like it. And I don't want somebody else outside of the country of Jamaica making decisions for Jamaicans. Anyway, get me started on this. What if your citizenship meant nothing because the ownership had changed? I can't deal with that. And I think that more Jamaicans, more people in this country need to make sure they know who the individuals that are making decisions on a local level, and make sure they know how you feel about changes being made without your consent. That's it.
All right.
Samuel Archer.
Yeah. We touched on some really good pointers tonight, and I like the fact that we didn't just pose what the problems are, but we also looked at some solutions loosely, right? I think that is. Oh, by the way, Dr. Judith, was the price for the
$20?
$20 for the calendar? So,
and just a little explanation. We people like to understand why we're paying something. The bottom line is that you have 14 original paintings in one calendar, and they're all original paintings. And one painting, 16 by 20 that I sell costs, the least it costs is $50. So for $20, you get 14 paintings. They're originals, and they're more of a keepsake.
Right. So it's not just for the year, but they can keep it for
right.
Future,
Right. And one day, the value will increase on my paintings. then they'll have something to what they own.
So we will talk to you about the NFTs, Dr. Judith. We're going to be talking about NFTs because we're going to take your calendar to the next level.
NFTs. My son talks about that.
Well, let him talk to you about it, because that is the next thing you have to take your paintings. But let me get back to my pointers. I just wanted to throw that in there so that, support. So I think I would refer to the Bible here where they talk about the renewing of the mind. And the renewing of the mind has a lot to you come to the value decision and you have to make a choice and say, you know what, all right, am I still going to talk about the hope and dream, or am I going to actually go for it? And that happened to me before I went to Full Sail University, where for years I'm going back to school, and I wasn't going back to school. And then until one point I say, okay, what's the reason why I can't take that step and get enrolled to and I couldn't really explain why I was not doing it all along. There was really no reason. So I said, you know what? I was turning, I think I was about to turn 40. And I said, well, two things will happen with this degree I'm going to jump into. Two things will happen. Either I go dead and it's done. If I'm still living, I'm going to complete. And this is probably one of the, I completed certain things, but it was like an iffy completion. I said, all right, I really need to complete something strong. And I jumped in and then completed it on a strong note. And that was just the experience of doing that was a way for me to renew my mind in terms of looking at new possibilities and where we can learn from history, learn from the brilliant ones, and learn from the dumb ones. Everybody has something to have, some lesson to share, and these are things we can use to improve ourselves. So I'm thinking that someone who listened to this program tonight would, a knob will turn, or the light, when you had to screw the light one more time so the bulb would turn on. So I think we screw the bulb one more turn and the light is on, and that is really what I think this conversation has done tonight for many. Where we have to start looking at things and look at not just one, it was one thing that may have been the feather to break the camel back, but there were a lot of different forces at work. And there are forces at work today keeping us in the consumer bracket. So once that consumer bracket is gone, everything drops. And that is what they're afraid of. So they have to keep that there. So you're gonna have all types of things coming at you as a group, as an ethnicity. And so that because they gotta build on it. The people who build the ark didn't go in the ark in the end, They tell you, well, the guys didn't choose to go. I mean, who's to say what really happened? Who's to say that, well, we're going to just change the story here. And anyway, that's my pointers. I hope you guys share the program, support Dr. Judith. Get your calendar. It's only $20. I believe that that this show 75, and I will drink one more time, and make sure that you share it. Share it 75 times. Yes, share this show 75 times. If you are a true fan, share it to 75 people. This is the 75th episode. Share it to 75 people. All right.
So yes. I'd like to first reach out to those people right now within the sound of my voice, those in the listening audience. Trini Girl, Carol Knight, Andrea Lamont, Lucy O'Brien. One of the things I'd like for you all to do as supporters of the show we also need to know what you all are doing. It's okay to be selfish. It's okay to do some self-promotion while you're here. Because we don't just talk the talk, we walk the walk. So if there's any venture that any one of you all are doing, the names that I've called out there and others who joined the program, let us know what you're doing so that we can showcase what you're doing, so that we can in turn support you. Because this is what it's all about. It's not just about us up here running our mouths and talking and trying to put our belief system out onto you and the rest of the public. No, it's also about networking. So let us know what it is you're doing as individuals, whatever business ventures you have sitting on the back burner, and you have a platform. So let's talk about it and let's get together and support each other. I've said this before, and I do believe that we all as individuals, we came here onto this plane with a gift. Some of us came with many gifts. And this gift or these gifts that we possess, it is not ours to keep, but to share with the world.
Amen.
Sometime last year, a friend of mine, her daughter started high school, and I turned to her and I said, well, I think you should go onto my t-shirt site, Excel Apparel, and buy a shirt for her when you purchase her clothes for her to go back to school. And she said, oh no, she's not interested in that stuff you sell. I said, really? Tell me what it is she's not interested in. Tell me what it is I have that she doesn't like. And she remained with a blank expression, because why? She couldn't even tell me what it is I sell on my site. Why? She had not taken the time to go onto the site. So when she thought about shopping, no, she didn't think about shopping at my store. Because some of us, a lot of us, do not see the value in our own private enterprises as a people. We still prefer to support the big name brands, the Pradas and the Gucci's and the ones who are already established. The millionaires, you prefer to take your money and give it to those who already have. Because some of us have this mentality, you are not going to get rich off of me. So they prefer to spend the money with those who are already rich. There's one of our supporters on this platform, and I'm going to say to you, I wish that you continue with your spices, your seasonings, and your pepper sauces, and the stuff that we discussed. We discussed that you want to do. Because remember, these big companies, the Matuks and all of these other pepper companies and the black peppers and the seasoning, they didn't start big.
Right.
They all started off small.
In the garage.
I think in the garage, as we can talk about Mr. Bill Gates, and we can talk about Mr. Steve Jobs, and we can talk about Mr. Jeff Bezos. These people didn't start with big companies. They started off in the garage, right in their house. So
and they had a lot of losses too.
Took a lot of L's. Took a lot of L's. A lot of lessons that they learned along the way.
That's right.
So for that, sister, I want to encourage you to, if you didn't begin yet, start with your pepper sauces. Start with your seasonings that you spoke about so long ago. Start. That's all you have to do, is to begin. I read somewhere recently where Mr. Diddy bought back his Sean John company. Mind you, he sold it a few years ago for 70 million. And apparently the new owners weren't aware how to market. And now the company went back for sale for $7 million, and Diddy bought it back.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I read that somewhere this morning.
Wow.
So people, whatever little venture it is that you have, you may not see that value in it right now. But I encourage you to push out there with your venture. Try to own everything that you use. Try to invest in these things that you use on a daily basis. Everybody want to go right now. Some people go, I want to buy the new Tesla. I want to buy the new iPhone. Invest that same $1,000 that you're going to spend on a new iPhone. Invest that into Apple and see the return. Instead of buying that, how much ever thousands of dollars for a Tesla, invest some of that money into Tesla and see the return on your money. Try owning everything that you wear, down to your underwear. If you don't own it, support one of us who does.
Down to your underwear.
Down to your underwear. Let's keep that dollar circulating. We spoke about this on many occasions. Keep that dollar within the family. Keep it circulating, people. The holidays are upon us. Careful how you spend that money, because like Karin says, we have some bleak times ahead. Don't sleep and think it's all about shopping. Some cold days are coming. And if you have to spend that money, spend it among us as a people. Support one another. And this is how we can end up growing as a family, growing as a people, growing as a nation, growing as a race. Support one another. Build individual family businesses. And let's take this thing to a higher level. Thank you so much for joining us. Peace and blessings.
Blessings.
Hi, I'm Dr. Judith Barnes. I'm an author, a playwright, poet. I'm also a broadcaster by training. And I recently found out about 2 years ago that I can paint paintings, which means I paint sceneries, I paint landscape, I paint animals. I have just discovered, and so that I can do this. And so along with all the other gifts and talents that I've been blessed with, I have paintings, and they are on view and for sale on Etsy and also on Facebook. And if you desire to order any painting or order one of my books, because I'm also an author, please give me a call at 470-564-8267. That's Dr. Judith, and the number again, whether you want to just talk to me or order one of my paintings or one of my books, please feel free to call 470-564-8267. Thank you.
Hello there and welcome. My name is Curtis Henry. Over the past few weeks, as we were putting the final pieces together to get the show on the road, some people asked, why do you need to showcase Caribbean people? Why Caribbean Chat? And I say, why not? Because we as Caribbean people have worked too hard, come too far, and suffered too long for us to continue taking a backseat. It's time for us to rise up, speak out, and show the world the value and the richness of our culture. So I'm providing a platform to showcase the history and culture of Caribbean people in entertainment, the arts, politics, sports, and economics. We will explore the many profound contributions they have made to society. So we invite you to stay with us as we launch what is to become one of the greatest voices of Caribbean people, for Caribbean people, by Caribbean people. On this platform, Caribbean people of excellence get to tell their story. Our aim is to ensure that your contributions are acknowledged and celebrated. Welcome to Caribbean Chat. So make sure you like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. We are Caribbean Chat.